What's up, guys? Sub-Zero here, back for another odd review. Today, this is almost like personal. I am doing a VOD review because I need to focus up and learn how to play one comp. So we're gonna learn how to play together because honestly, this is I'm really just going to give you guys my analysis of this. I've done a little bit of research into this comp. It's Veigar Reroll. I want to talk about Veigar Cyberboss Reroll. Main reason is because if you guys, if you guys watched last video and the previous videos, I was playing this tournament this weekend, this sub-regional tournament, and I had the worst Veigar game of my life in tournament. Hit everything and still went the fastest 8th of my life. Hit Veigar 3, Poppy 3, Shyvana 3, Kobuko 2, and I went uncontested 8th. And so I thought, okay, obviously I fundamentally misunderstand how to play around this comp. And so I wanted to watch, probably after looking around at available resources, the best Veigar player out there. This is Sologesang. If you guys haven't watched Solo before, he is an insanely strong European player. And I looked through a lot of his match history, a lot of his VODs, and every time this guy plays Veigar, he top 4s. And if you look at just other people playing Veigar, I'm actually down to just pull things up here. So yeah, so this is all people playing Veigar with 4 Cyberboss. You can see me here with this disgusting, I hit everything, and I mean, whatever. But you can see there's a lot of people who play this comp bot 4 with it. You know, there's kind of a sea of bot 4s in here, a few random, top 4s and wins in there, but you can see Solo is like the shining star. Every time he plays this comp, like if you sort by Sologesang here, like every single game, top 4, win, top 4, win, top 4, 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 top 4. The last time he bot 4 to this comp, this wasn't even like a Veigar reroll comp. Like, I mean, a lot of these games are, other stuff, but I mean, still, there's a lot of Veigar reroll in here, and he's never bot 4ing with it. So I thought, okay, let's learn from the master. Let's learn from Sologesang. First thing that I will say after watching all of his VODs, I wanted to watch this one because this is actually kind of an unconventional game here. It is I mean, you can probably predict it based on the fact that we know we're going to play Veigar this game. It is a too much value start from Solo, which I thought was kind of interesting considering we have no 2 costs to start. We obviously do have econ start, and this is a pretty solid loss streak augment. But it is kind of funny just because we end up in this spot here, and I think we're going to win this fight here unless these Graveses are worse than I think. And yeah, we're going to win here, which is actually really, really gross because now we can't even play for 5 loss. But it's too much value into Veigar, which makes sense. And the way that Solo plays around this comp, he actually rolls kind of interestingly. Sometimes he'll roll some units that I feel are really kind of non-standard. So yeah, I don't know. I'm excited to see how Mr. Solo plays around it, and hopefully we can learn something about playing this stupid Cyber or not Cyber reroll, but Veigar reroll comp. Because I can't straight up believe that it's the worst thing ever. It's after playing the game, I yapped a lot to my chat, and I was like, this comp's unplayable. Never play this comp in your life, and that can't be true. This is a comp that exists, and obviously there is the kind of okay, if you hit the Cyberboss augment, if you hit I don't know, I'm thinking an upgraded adventure, but that's a different one that could end up making you play Veigar. But the one that you have to do new high score. Yeah, if you hit new high score, obviously it makes sense to play around Veigar. And certainly a lot of the games that Solo does play around Veigar are new high score games. I won't say that he's hard forcing this comp every single game, but just the kind of spot recognition, the times where he does play this comp, and especially a game like this where it's a little bit awkward. And yeah, he's going to team planner this out. This is a board that Solo, honestly, he rolls for a surprising amount of the time. A lot of the Veigar games I've seen, he has played this setup here, where he rolls for Veigar and Shyvana, the kind of techie pair, and then he rolls for LeBlanc and Echo, the strategist pair, and he just plays all of this. Also, I mean, looking at the whole lobby, there are a lot of people who are potentially leaning towards Veigar, so I don't even know. And without Tier here, I'm honestly shocked. He starts emoting on this board. He's like, hey, can you pivot into something else? I'm gonna be real. I don't know how this even ends up being a Veigar game because he's contested. He has an econ augment. He's typing in chat. He's asking, "Are you Veigar?" He starts typing it and then he doesn't actually finish typing it, which is interesting here. I mean, we gotta negotiate a little bit when we're afraid of being contested here. But it looks like he doesn't care. Well, we'll see. We'll see what ends up happening here. But I mean, this is already a wild spot, I would say. I mean, because yeah, I mean, JG blue buff, or JG, potential half of blue buff slammed. I would certainly think think that this person is playing towards Veigar. They're holding on to some Cypher stuff on the bench, which is kind of interesting as maybe something they can play, but I would certainly think that they're going to play a Veigar game here, and that would really scare me off. We sell everything here and do end up just selling the Poppy here in order to make 40 gold. Say we don't care as much about the Poppy, even though it's probably, I mean, it's a solid next in on this board, but yeah, we're sitting here, picks up Veigar. Wow, wait. Was this game actually contested, Veigar? I mean, if this game's contested, Veigar Reroll, I don't even know what to say. But because I had trouble with this comp when I was uncontested, so I'm gonna be shocked if Solo can, you know, pull a rabbit up, and he gets triple sword drop. I mean, how actually? Like, if I had not spoiled this game for myself and known that this was a Veigar game, I don't know how that I would know that this is a Veigar game, because look at these items. Like, I can't imagine that this is like, we have 0 tiers. It's actually, so he says Solo Shmolo Sag Ik Immer. I don't know what that means. Maybe it's I'm only Solo Shmolo Sag Ik Immer. Okay, let's Google Translate. Why not? You know, we do the hard hitting analysis here, and then let's pause augment here. Google Translate. Solo Shmolo Yag Sag. Sorry, I was doing some Swedish. Sag Ik Immer. Solo Shmolo, I always say. Joe. Okay. Maybe he's, I mean, because Solo, you know, Solo Shmolo, I mean, is he flaming Sologesang for playing Veigar from the spot contested? I don't know. Any case, next augment here. So we've started with Econ Augment. I will say, you know, he plays it from almost always an Econ Augment start, and I think this makes a lot of sense, or, you know, the specific Veigar Augment start. I think it makes a lot of sense in that this is a comp where it's very fragile. You need to hit your 3 stars, but then also make it to a Koboko, which is really tough, right? It means either high rolling it off carousel, off level 8, or making it to level 9, which is really, really difficult. And so you need Econ Augment to get there. I'm curious how much Econ, like, is he interested in taking another Econ Augment? I mean, I do think Bulky Buddies is just a solid generic option here, and it looks like Solo agrees here and is looking at that. Ooh, he's got this, that page, which is actually really nice, where it shows all of the, like the potential things that you can hit here. And yeah, we're off the kind of like augment hack here. And yeah, we're gonna roll down. We do pick up Veigar 2 here. He's still using his rolls here. Picks up 4 Veigars now. And he is going to make Giant Slayer and Gunblade, looks like. Yeah, I mean, these are the only 2 slammable items for the Veigar, and I do think they're pretty solid. And I honestly was thinking about reforging one of these swords, and saying, you know, like, I'm just going to, I mean, hope that I get something better, but I think Sologesang has a different idea here, which is potentially, I mean, it is just very smart. We'll see when we get there. We could be playing a 6/2 cost here to try to get, you know, too much, too much value? Yeah, too much value, but we're not going to, just because we are a little bit afraid of, you know, being way too weak. We would have to end up cutting the Poppy loose Cyber Boss, which is just illegal. So this is our board, stage 3. It is looking pretty solid here. Kind of an interesting board. We roll decently deep, you know, just to make sure we find stuff like Veigar 2 and 2-star frontline, but yeah, I mean, not insanely deep here. Pick up tier here off carousel. And yeah, this is, I think, the idea from Sologesang, which I think is really smart, and is something that, you know, as a noob on this comp, I probably would not have done. Is, well, we'll see here. Let's roll a little bit. We got our free refreshes here. We might as well roll to, you know, when we roll down here, just to, because we are like contested, you want to roll as much as possible. This El Hermano guy keeps rolling and, or keeps scouting us just to see, like, okay, is he still contesting? And yeah, look at this. Ooh. He's considering it, but he actually, we don't slam that round, right? He didn't slam the Shojin. There's also that guy who has a Veigar too as well. There's so many Veigars out in this lobby. But yeah, we realize we're fighting the Cypher player. We don't need to slam. This is something that I always talk about, is like, you don't need to slam when you don't need to slam. Maybe sounds silly, but yeah, like, if you're in a spot like this, like, you actually have no need to, ooh, and we find 6 Veigars. So we roll a little bit deeper here, pick up the Mordekaiser. But yeah, when you have, when you're fighting a Cypher player, you don't need to, you know, slam your Shojin. You could keep the option, I'm going to find a blue buff. But look at this. The second we rotate into this guy, who, this is the El Hermano player, we say, okay, you know what? we are actually going to slam the Shojin here because we're afraid that we're going to lose this fight. I think it's just such a smart, small thing that, I mean, it's good. It's just playing good TFT, and I think a lot of people would be really afraid of slamming Shojin there. But I think Solo realizes this is a comp where, like, if you're super hard loss streaking, like, you are just going to bleed out and die. And so we would much rather actually just make the Shojin. Yeah, sure, it's, you know, not the optimal slam here, or it's not the optimal final item for Veigar here, but it's good enough. We do hit the Veigar 3 relatively quickly with our too much value rerolls, which is huge here. Veigar 3 by 4-1 is going to put us into a good spot. And yeah, we can even level for a brand here and play around for Techie. So we've made it to Veigar 3, but I would say that's only half. I mean, that's like a third of the battle with this comp, you know, especially after I played that game because, you know, my bad tournament game, I hit Veigar 3. I even found Kobuko and I still bought forward. And so, like, I want to see how we navigate the late game, right? Because, you know, it's not just hit Veigar and GG's. All right, yeah, I don't think we're taking Para 4's. Big Friend, I mean, quite awkward to position around. Healing Orb's pretty bad augment in general this late into the game. I mean, I do think Spirit Link is, yeah, the most takeable here. The only thing is, okay, so we do take an augment like this that's more of like a tankiness style augment. It's just, I've heard conflicting things about kind of how you should think about this comp. If this is a comp where you should just say like, okay, I'm just thinking about trying to like blow up the enemy board as quickly as possible, or if you should think about this, you know, when you build Gunblade onto Veigar, it turns it almost not really into a stall comp, but almost a stall comp. And so that's kind of how we're playing it here, is just kind of like stalling out, playing for longer fights with Spirit Links plus this Gunblade, and just allowing Veigar to get a lot of casts off. There's a close fight, but the Gunblade actually doing a lot of work for Mr. Solo here. I will say, I mean, just looking at the games, unless there's something I missed, I'm down to pull it up again. I mean, he builds Gunblade 1, 2, not that often, right? It's not like he thinks Gunblade's core. Most of these games, he's obviously building the blue buff and then, you know, 2 damage items. So just another thing to kind of consider here is we got to Gunblade, but I don't think this is like a Sologesang is like, I have to build Gunblade every game. I think this was we had 3 swords game and we actually turned it into 3 items for Veigar, which is fantastic, honestly. We also picked up the brand too, which is really fun, just to kind of deny those Street Demon players out there. You say, oh, all you scumbag Street Demon players who are just playing this every game, we get to deny them by holding onto a brand too. And he's a good unit. He can be our next unit that we actually play for itemization wise, or we could look for more Kobuko type items. So win this fight as well. So many close fights, man. The more that I watch this comp, the more I see just like, it's one of those, it's so, I mean, fragile. Fragile is the word that I was thinking of, and I really do feel like that when I'm playing this comp. I feel like you are so close every second to losing a fight. If you can get there, it does have a high cap. Also, we're holding all of these, what is this? Why are we holding these? Okay, we just decided to stop holding them, but that was weird. I guess he was trying to deny somebody, but it's not like we're in like 4v4, right? Like it's, I don't know. In any case, I mean, it's fine. We held him for a second and then got rid of him. I guess he's trying to deny somebody, but like I'm surprised that he wants to deny so hard here, but okay. We are continuing. Ooh, these fights are pretty close here, but I feel like, oh man, these items on Veigar have done very well. Okay, we do finally lose a fight here, and we go to our 4th augment here because of the augment hack. I mean, I don't think it's Tomb Raider. I don't think it's her. Ooh, I mean, Heroic Grabback does. Okay, yeah, I don't think. Yeah, I like Mana Flow a lot better, I would say. I mean, it does give you a Shiv 3 here, but like, honestly, think we're just gonna find Shiv on like rolling like this. There's a Kobuko. I mean, obviously huge to get on level 7 here. We don't actually, hilariously enough, have the Ziggs yet, so we're still not for Cyber Boss yet, but I mean, a Kobuko is a Kobuko. You can definitely be very excited about that. That is that's step 2, right? It's step 1, hit Veigar 3. Step 2 is find, you know, Kobuko and by extension for Cyber Boss. And then step 3 is just, you know, cap out your board in the way that is, I mean, we'll see. Throws the Nico into planner here. I do love Nico on this board here just for a, you know, like an Echo, Nico, and Brand. You can get Street Demon in easily, though we don't actually know what our kind of hex pattern is here. It might be quite awkward with our augment setup, but yeah, okay. I'm really excited to see how Solo plays around this here because we don't have, to me, very obvious Kobuko items, unless we want to just move all the tank items over there, which we certainly could. We also, yeah, we don't have like a Poppy 3 to play around, so we don't have that. Roll down here, pick up the Shiv 3, so we have this to play around for now. And yeah, I mean, we have Shiv that we can finish off here, yeah, and then we're gonna make just JG here. So yeah, it's a 0 item Kobuko here, and it's also only 2.5 items on our Shyvana here, which is kind of wild. But I mean, we opt to itemize the brand there over the Shyvana. I didn't have that many good items out of the Anvil, I believe, but yeah, still. All right, I mean, wow, that is Kobuko 2 on level 8. So I mean, step one. I mean, that's maybe part of doing well with the comp is high roll units a little bit. Ooh, item swaps coming here. Okay, so Shojin's gonna go there. Sunfire, just full tank items onto the Koboko, and then we basically swapped over the JG over to Veigar, moved the Giant Slayer to Brand, the idea being that just we want crit onto Veigar with all these stats. And okay, so this is now our board. Our Koboko items are essentially just straight up tank items. I mean, the more I think about it, so like, in my game, I had a really awkward setup. I ended up building BT Titans on Koboko, which the stats don't hate, but they don't love either. I mean, watching this comp in action though, I mean, especially how my game's played out, I definitely respect just the tank items Koboko setup that he has here. It is just gonna buy a lot of time for this Veigar, and like, yeah, this Koboko buys so much time with all these tank items. Like, look at this fight, man. It lasts so long. We lose the fight still, but with so much time for the Veigar to actually kind of like clear the entire board. I think this makes a lot of sense from an itemization perspective. Last item here, I don't know, Redemption, Warmogs or Redemption, both look good. Worst case, you could take a Sterax, I guess. Yeah, and I think we will have to just take the Sterax here. Yeah, I mean, it's not the best thing in the world, but it's okay. We are starting to bleed out a bit. So I'm curious also kind of what placement we get here, because this is what happened in my game, is that, you know, I played Veigar and I actually I felt like I hit the entire board, and then I just still bled out. You know, it was like I hit the entire board on like 30 HP, 20 HP or something, which, you know, is still less than Mr. Solo has here. But then I just lost a bunch of fights in a row. And so I wonder if this is just a comp that it's vulnerable to some. I mean, this fight's looking pretty good against a very strong board here. That's El Hermano's board, by the way, the person who was potentially contesting Solo, but then I think decided to stop when he realized that Solo was just going to hard force this comp, which is kind of hilarious that, yeah, contested Veigar and we actually made it. We win that fight against them. Yeah, I mean, I do think these just full tank items onto the Koboko are doing fantastic. And it's also, we are once again in a triple combat augment setup here. After that first econ augment, we made it to the comp. And then, I mean, really, I do think there might be some secret sauce in just, it's a bit crazy, but actually just like finding Koboko on 8, saying like it's 3% odds of finding a 5 cost, and all I need to do is find one Koboko. And obviously hitting Koboko 2 is really good, but maybe that's part of the idea, is that you just need some kind of econ augment. This econ augment allowed us to hit Koboko on 8 just because we had all these free rerolls, but you know, there's other ways to do it. All right. Hit the Nico too. Oh, and this is also kind of what I wanted to look at board-wise here, is how we actually cap the board here. He is playing this version here where he's just playing around for Techie and then just fitting Nico in as an extra strategist. Gonna move this Sunfire over, by the way, to this Shyvana here. He does do the accidental thing that everybody does with this comp, where, and I did this in my game as well, where you accidentally make the Big Buko a cyber boss here. Doesn't get punished, actually wins the fight, and will he? I mean, he could leave it there, but I do think the ideal. Oh, I think he wants it there. Yeah, he wants Koboko to be the cyber boss. Actually, interesting. Just saying, like, he's actually going to be more important. Just getting the HP and the AP on him is going to be more important than getting it onto Veigar. Wow. Okay. I mean, Veigar is getting AP from Techie, and obviously he doesn't use the HP at all. So I wonder. Yeah, I mean, Koboko too. I could actually see this being the call here. Wow. And I mean, the Koboko with just the gargoyle and just full tank items, I feel like has done so much work here. We lock in a top 3 here. The game is heating up a bit. One win can put us in a spot where we top 2, or I mean, if we lose, we are dead. That is a Cypher player, 500 stacks, Cypher cash out, Yuumi 3. What a weird setup actually for them as well, but we'll see. Also just trying to kill as many units as possible, right? Because we are 4 HP with this other player here, so it is, we could end up in a situation where the difference between first and second is just a little bit of HP. We do lose this fight, and the other player does lose, but by a little bit less. So a solid third from Solo. I do think big takeaways from this game about how to play around Veigar. You know, don't be afraid of slamming stuff for, you know, tempo, making stuff like the Shojin, and then being okay. You know, he made the Giant Slayer, and then he moved that over to the Brand, being okay, shifting items around. I think Solo does this a lot with just reroll comps in general. As he slams that in for tempo, then moves it somewhere else. Having an econ augment to start is absolutely necessary, I would say, to make sure that you can get there. Obviously, high rolling Koboko, really, really good, but you know, not something that is complete. I mean, you know, you allow yourself to high roll by having more econ and having more rerolls. And then I also love that, you know, the potential Echo and potential LeBlanc 3 as kind of like other outs to hit on your reroll. If you hit those guys on your roll down, awesome. If you don't, you know, don't. So like there's a lot of stuff that you can get from there as well. So I think I learned a good bit. Maybe I'll try out this comp again. We'll see if I end up in the spot for it, maybe. But I mean, this was a good event session for me, and I think I learned a bit about this comp as well. So, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, comment, and subscribe. Check out my Twitch, my Metafy, all my other links down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.